first tunnel. Let's see. These are farmers' friend tunnels. Come as kits. It grows stuff pretty well. I like it. I like them. They hold up real well in our wind. It's got lettuce, chard, some late season squash. We usually do patty pan squash. They're pretty prolific. There we go. We're live. Hello, hello. It's hot today. It's also going to be cold tonight, which is awesome. Hi, John. How are you? Hi, Ray. We're having a good Monday. You're fine? So, this is the tunnel we planted last week. It's 80 degrees-ish in here. And 48 degrees outside? It says 63 on the thing. Let's see what my phone says after I update it. No more snowstorm. Well, that's good. Oh, yeah, mine says 63 too. So, 80 degrees inside the tunnel. And if you look very closely, you can see sprouts. We got pretty good germination on this bed. This was the spring mix. And it usually germinates pretty well. Yeah. What's the temp? Soil temp. $57? And that's 2 inches in. What is it there? Gibbs sprout emote? Yes, we need to. 62? That's kind of at the end of the tunnel. Here we need to make some more emotes. Oh, forgot. The oldest one sent me a new one. I sure did, Ray. Dogs are taken care of. 60. Check right here. I try. 61. Sweet. real test is going to be the next couple of nights, because it's going to be effing cold. So, yeah, it's the same. 60 degrees. Radishes are coming up too. Right here. Check the edge. $55. So yeah, real test is going to be tonight and the next couple of nights, because it's going to be in the single digits tomorrow night and Wednesday. 54. Check here where it's really wet. $54. Check the other side. Oh, and we have our gourmet mix coming up too. On this bed. $61. A 5-degree difference between beds. It's a little cooler, a little bit deeper. 55. Make sure this is wet underneath, damp. Yeah, it's not too bad. Do this one already. $57. Yeah. So, good stuff. Happy about that. Sweet. Turn that off. So I guess we ought to log some things, huh? Since we got pretty good germination and stuff. Germ. Feb 21. And then same here. I think we have some stuff coming up here too. It's just a little bit more sparse, so I'm gonna wait to log it on our right side here. Hi. How are you? I'm checking the beds that we planted last Monday. on the 15th. We've got some germination. And recording some stuff. When we have germination, that way I can input it later. Greetings from West Texas. I'm good. How are you? So yeah, checking on this tunnel. It seems good to go. Our soil temps are above 50, sometimes in the 60s, so that's great, especially with the really cold weather that's coming at night. It's supposed to be sunny with the cold weather, so I'm not too worried about in here. What do I use to record? I will do something real quick. It's a GoPro Hero 8. Oh, bam. John's got it. Follow that link. That's a shopping list of all the things in the rig. But I use a GoPro Hero 8. I don't know how happy I am with it, though. It's not quite my favorite thing. There's a lot of stuff I've had to do to get it to work. If you put the yeah, follow that link. Hi Shinso. Follow that link and it has each component. Alright, so these beds have been watered a few times. So I'm gonna try and stirpo this bed because I skipped it last time because it was kind of hard. See how it goes. And we might flame in here, and then maybe work on the other tunnel. I figured we could use the nice weather and stuff. It's still pretty hard. Or this bed might just need some soil amendment. You know the feeling of not wanting to? Yeah, this bed's pretty hard. It's also not very wet. It's pretty heavy clay. Also, I've been working on trying to get away from it. Where it's damp, it doesn't seem to be too hard though. I'm getting much more purchase with the hoe. Yeah, it's not super dry. I mean, this part right here isn't super dry. So that's helping. But it is pretty hard. So, that's what we're doing today. We're gonna use the nice weather to work in the tunnels. And then tomorrow when it's cold, we'll go work at the big farm. Do some cleanup stuff I need to do out there. Get all bundled up and stay warm with activities. Hug to all, thank you. Oh, I'm not done yet. Still a little bit further to go. I thought I was done with this bed. Yeah, so hope everybody had a good weekend. I woke up today and really didn't want to do much. But that's not an option. Middle part of this bed's nice. Okay. I gotta pick up trash in here. That door was open. It's not the easiest ever. Shinso, it's not the easiest ever. Pick up trash, stir up these beds, get them back to usable. We might leave these middle ones because they seem to be okay. Mod view is weird. That is the way it works. Pull some of this extra stuff out. Arugula that wasn't pulled the first time. Do you like it? Or is it just too much? I like the way it looks. All these candy wrappers. Oh, yes. Predictions and channel points. And poles. All the things. Actually, I've got, looks like to be aphids in here. Yep. See that little white speck? That's an aphid. Little evil insects. These carrots don't look too bad. I think I'll leave them. Lots of plastic. Whoa. This still feels nice and soft. That's good. Okay, trash picked up. I'm already getting hot and sweaty. Might open this tunnel up a little. Go bust out the cow. Yeah, no, for sure. There's lots of clay here still. difficult to work away from. Kind of sucks everything into it. So, yeah. Yep. Really what we need to do is spend a whole bunch of money and get a whole bunch of dirt brought in. That's not an option. That's not an option. Nope, it's clay. We've built away from most of it, but underneath there's still lots of clay. So I'll show you how I open these tunnels, I guess. And then we'll get to work on this one. It feels a whole lot looser just by looking at it, so that's good. This one we ought to be able to get ready to go next week. So that'll be Monday, Tuesday. That'll put this planting behind a little bit, but it's okay. We'll do what we can. But yeah, ideally, if we could bring in lots of new dirt, that would be the best course of action. My CSA sales haven't gone the way I thought they would. I hope they would. I haven't had anybody sign up from the ad. It is too expensive. I could do it if I had more CSA sales. But nobody's signing up. I can't make them do it. Of course, people might also just be waiting to get their tax returns. That could be a thing. A reason. That doesn't want to stay up. Oh well. Ow, poked my hand. There we go. Good enough. Keep it there. Pull this stuff out. Blame some of the other stuff. Candy wrappers. I want plastic in the soil. Go get the cow. Hang you up so you're not looking at the ground constantly. Excuse the mess. I don't know. It's weird. Because the van's all metal? Maybe? I'm not sure what you're asking. You just putting tomatoes in or edging the tunnel? We're cleaning up this tunnel. We'll put tomatoes in when it gets warmer. Right now it's still too cold for the tomatoes. Oh, yeah, we'll probably do some dill in this tunnel when we first plant them. Plant the seeds for the tomatoes. The wrong loop. So we'll be doing dill as a protection crop. Sorry. And that'll probably be good enough. Struggle most with hornworms. A little wobbly. For now, I'll set you a little bit more secure here in a minute. And that was me messing with stuff. Might be why it was wobbly. Straighter. There we go. That's better. Hi-ya. There we go. Now we're straight. Okay. Tatum did a pretty good job. I'll just finish it up. Check the picture. I'm sure the angle's not weird. Yeah, it's pretty good. See how windy it is tomorrow. We might make a stop here tomorrow. See if we can't get that hose fixed. Put in like a 1-inch coupler or something. Some hose clamps. Rig it up, get it to work again. This stuff's pretty crumbly. Some of it, anyway. No, tape didn't work at all. It just like flowed out. Flowed out and around the hole. So, yep, big boo. Big boo. Oh, there goes the water. Sweet. In the other tunnel. Might hit that again after it dries with the styropor of that bed. Surprisingly, this bed's still kind of wet. Dampish. But yeah, there's some stuff I need to do at the vineyards. I'd like to get some of that non-used stuff, non-used land cleaned up. Can you still hear me? Get some of that non-used land cleaned up so that it like looks nice and stuff. And I don't have all the problems with the weeds. Yes, all clear. Awesome. Or no, the inside the fence, behind the container. To be like family plots. So we'll get that cleaned up. If I can get started getting it ready for people to plant, like some containers or something. Yeah, that part. Oh, come on, come on. I tell you, wanna. Oh. flood the grass here. Good luck with that. You might just scythe for all those weeds. Yeah, you're probably right. I have a weed eater that I can use on it. Big clump of dirt connected to all these grass roots. Very wet still. Shake it. Good enough. Yeah, so we'll let that water soak in a little bit. And we'll see about stir hoeing that bit one more time since it's damp. There we go. Might need to grab my fork. Get these grass clips out. There we go. Thank you. Maybe the middle of the tunnel would be the best place. I'll set you guys. Dump this in the compost. Come on, stay up. There we go. You've nearly cut your leg a few times. Switch views. work on this side. There we go. Yes, swing, it catches on a rock and near miss. Ugh, no fun. Never good. Get these dandelions too. Throw that in a dumpster when we're done with it. Go get the fork. Fork them out. Get that taproot. It's a garden ornament now, hanging on the wall. We have a fence of shame. We put all the tools that break. Get all these seeds out too. At least this is wet enough I could work it, even though I haven't been watering in a while in this tunnel. So yeah, that's what our soil looks like here. Pretty heavy clay. About there. About there. And then that's the layer of peat moss we've been putting down. Yeah, so, and then we have pebbles that were pathways all in there. At least it breaks up nice when it's wet. At least you can break it apart. Ooh, that's a good sign. Got a farm friend here. A wormy worm. We need more of you, buddy. Or ma'am, whichever. Get him back in the dirt. Her back. Him, her, it. They do exist. Yes, they do. Our soil's not completely barren. Actually, this bed has a bunch in them. It's number 2. I found number 2. They're pretty deep down though. I'm not sure. Not sure about earthworms. Oh, that's a big one. That's a good sized one right there. See? It's a good sized one. Well, you don't freeze tonight. No, they're in the clay. They're probably the one that they're probably what's doing the most work to break it up. So this bed is probably going to be really difficult to work for a while because clay up pulling these weeds out.
So the first approach is understanding the chords, and on the second time through, because I'm a sort of very simple rock player at heart,
What do I want to do with these onions?
And then fill in the gaps.
I could clean a tote, we could harvest them. I could do that. Harvest them and try and sell them.
And on the second time
Not a
through,
whole bunch though. Might be a good idea. I'll ponder that while I do this bed over here. Don't want to block the camera. Here we go.
One of my favorite notes to play over a minor chord is second. Second.
Probably the best option, honestly. Otherwise, they just go to waste. But I need to do it tonight. Or today. Because of the weather tonight. They all look real good. Some of them are kind of small, but
I guess the point is that this little guy is your friend. You might know him up from your childhood. You get all these little weird things because you're not a robot and you're not perfect. Or at least I'm far from perfect. As long as the destination is meaningful, that's kind of what makes the world a beautiful place.
what I'm pretty concerned about tonight, the next few days, especially with that germination we have on the tunnels. Even though they're a little bit tougher, a little bit more hardy than regular plants, it's still, a week's worth of time. A bit of seed that I can't really afford to lose, but we'll see. This bed is so wet. It's so weird. I haven't even watered in here. I mean, this piece of the top of the container right now because the sun's so low. Did I bring the styrofoam here? I don't know if I did. Did I? No. top there. Yep, it's constantly shaded, so it's all wet. Nothing really evaporates. Then that side over there, it's constantly in the sun. So it's a constant struggle with this bed. Keep stuff alive because it gets over wet. Found it in the container, a tool that a long time ago that measures fertility and pH. I might see if I can't figure out how to use it. Instead of doing soil tests, that might actually be a good tool. We'll see. I have no idea how it actually works. We got chat now, combined brains, yes. That might have been why I didn't use it before. Work it, or I didn't know if it could be relied upon. Big brains. I'll go and get the tool and I'll show you. Or the meter thing. After I finish this, right here. When I go get my stirrup hoe. Stirrup hoe this bed. Ah. Yeah, it's still hard underneath, so we'll leave that bed. did I put it? Found it. Turpo. So, it's a Burpee 2-in-1 analyzer, fertility and pH. I don't think it's battery powered. It's doing something. Fertility? Too little?
So in your computer there are some hackers. They are trying to stop all the services, ma'am. You can see on your scanner.
So,
Where is it?
pH.
Ma'am, these all are your computer services, and on the right hand side below the settings you can see that it's showing
7?
stop, 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 running, stop.
Ideal? It's in between 7 and 6.
Stop, running, stop.
So that's good.
Stop, running.
Let's check the middle. Fertility? So it's ideal for fertility. Ideal for alkaline.
Okay, do we have to read all of them?
So you can see that your map in your computer there is no any kind of security.
I honestly though, I don't know if I trust that
Found in your computer.
at all.
Tomorrow all the
Because
services
this bed hasn't grown.
Why would they do that?
It got to this point and then stopped.
Can't use it anymore.
Even though it was warm enough for it to continue growing.
Why are they trying to turn my computer off?
That could also be sunlight? Maybe? Like the length of the day? Let's check this bed. pH is just barely ideal. Something else if I dug a bit deeper? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, that's a 3 or 1, 2. It's like a 3-inch. It's like a 3-inch prong. The plants aren't liking something in the soil the deeper the roots grow. Deep though. So that's not even a 2-inch root length on that plant. I don't know. You've posted on YouTube vid and farm chat that shows. Oh, nice. Covers that model. Sweet. pH is good. Utility's too high. I don't understand. Let me watch the video real quick. Oh. Can you hear it? You want me to turn it up?
So pH affects how your plants access the fertilizers in the soil, basically. And pH is on a scale of 0 to 14. 7 is neutral. Most garden plants do perfectly fine between 5.5 and 7.0 pH, and they do vary a little bit. And if you get online, you can find plenty of information that shows you what different plants may like for growing. And for instance, you can see beets 6.0 to 7.5, tomatoes 5.5 to 7.5. So as long as you're in that range of like 6.5, you're doing pretty well. Now these different meters aren't 100% accurate, and you have to use them in a specific way. First thing is you want to set up 3 holes. I have a hole here, and a hole over there. And you take off the top inch or 2 of soil, loosen the soil to a depth of really just remove the top inch, just like that, because a lot of times wood sits on there, mold just sit on there, and then dig down 6 inches and really loosen it up. Once you loosen up the holes, you want to use distilled water or deionized water from your grocery store. It costs about $1. Soak the hole, and the reason I pre-did that is then you want to let it sit about 5 minutes. Let the water get absorbed and let the water do its thing, because you have to.
Can you hear it or no?
Moist to soil. Now, as I said, these meters aren't the most accurate, so you take a reading from each hole, you do the average, and that gives you an idea of what you might have to do to manage the pH in your soil. If you want a really accurate reading of your soil pH, you have to put it in a bag, send it off to a lab, let the lab do an analysis, and it's usually spot on that way. So before we get to testing my soil, I did a little bit of an experiment. This is water with a little bit of vinegar in there, and you can see that the reading, if you can't see it, says 4.6, which means it's more on the acidic side. And then after you take your probe out of the soil, let's just imagine this is covered in dirt. You don't want to scrape this way because sometimes there's different metals or different treatments on the tip. So always just clean your probe just like that. This one comes with a little scouring pad, and on the, I guess, stainless steel part, you're supposed to shine it up and clean it up. You leave the tip alone, and then you get it ready for the soil test. You can turn it on or turn it off, turn it on. Now this is water with a little bit of baking soda, so that reading should be different as that sets up. Let me show you this one. This is another meter. It has 3 probes, and it sits at 7.0 neutral when you take it out. This is peat moss. A lot of people say, how can you use peat moss in the garden? It's too acidic. Now, the reading is just a little bit over 6. If we let it sit on here, it will come down just a little bit more, maybe around 6, 5.9. So what we do know is that the meters are working. That's what I wanted to look for. Again, they're not 100% accurate, but I want to make sure these probes are working. So let's put this one over into this hole. You do have to let them sit in there for about a minute. And now this one, let's give it a clean again. I'm always a little suspect of these meters. That's why I like to test them. All right, so the pH is starting to drop. All right. Sometimes I'm afraid they get just stuck, but this is now in a solution of a little bit of baking soda and water. So the pH reading on here is 6.5, which is where it should be. It should be a little bit higher because baking soda is alkaline, and the pH should be, you know, above the 6.0 mark. And then the vinegar was much lower. So let me clean this probe off. And we're going to put it into the hole, and we're going to wait about 2 minutes. So 2 minutes have gone by, and this one is reading a 6.6. I did add a little bit more water in there while we were waiting. If your meter is staying stuck at 7, sometimes you just need more moisture in there, but that really just helps things manage. So that's reading a 6.6, and it's hard to tell on that one because it's not digital, but it's just under the 7, which might be like 6.7, 6.8. So those are 2 readings that I would write down, and I would go over and do the 3rd one and then take the average, and that gives me an idea of what I want to do with my soil. And I probably won't do a whole lot. I'm going to add in some leaf grow, but 6.6, 6.8, that's pretty good. Sometimes I like it a little bit closer to 6.5, just a personal choice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to do the test just using a container. This way, if you don't feel like digging 3 holes, there's a way that you can just do it in a single container. Let me get to that. And this is my blueberry raised bed, and blueberries like more acidic soil. They like it, you know, below 6.0. Don't remember exactly what it is, but they do like a much lower pH. So I added in more peat moss and also watered this with a chemical fertilizer that is more acidic. And the more acidic or lower the pH value is, the lower the pH value means it's more acidic, the better blueberries do. And that's one of the benefits of having raised beds, is that you can change or manage the pH differently for different plants. So all you do, instead of having to, you know, dig 3 holes, fill them with water, take samples from each hole, average them together, just take the top 2 inches off, just like I did there, and over here. Take off the top 2 inches, mix the soil up to a depth of 6 inches, and then just put 1 scoop from each hole into a quart container. Add your deionized water into there and mix it up. And you can see that the pH reading on there is 6.4. It's lower than my other beds, but I need to work on this a little bit more, and that's okay because I just got these in. You don't want to change pH up or down too quickly. You can damage the soil life. So this is a little bit lower. I'll water this again with a chemical fertilizer that's just a little bit more acidic. That will help these plants. And you slowly want to change the pH month to month. But it is fall here. It's September 31st, or what is it, October 1st actually. There's no 31. And now is a great time to really test your pH in the fall and then start making changes as you need. I hope this gives you some idea of how to use these pH meters. You do need to take samples from different parts of your garden, and they're not 100% accurate, but they will give you a really good idea of what the pH is in your soil and your raised bed so that you can make changes.
So, there's not that much different that I did, really. It's still, these beds are still damp. It's not like they're dry. The city water might affect it a bit, but we'll keep playing with it. We'll keep playing with him. Center this as I stir up both these beds. That was an interesting video. I'll have to keep using that tool, see what happens. So this bed is nice and soft. Yeah, this bed is way softer. And it's not just because it's wet either. I'll show you the consistency of it. One second. Bring you a handful. Thank you for the video, John. Still tiring, but much easier. Welcome back. So, there's still a lot of peat moss in there. I think I put peat moss down pretty recently on this bed. But you can you see the clay bits in there still. But they're not nearly as compacted. It's much more broken up than the other tunnel. And it just crumbles. See how this dryer bed does with the hoe. I'm able to move it, but not very well. Yeah, not very well at all. Even though it looks pretty porous. And it does break apart. Not too difficult. But then you get in the core of it, it's like all clay. Yeah. So now we're getting into a wetter part. It's easier to work, but not nearly as hard. pretty clumpy still. But at least I can dig with the stirrup hoe. Get it down to where it's actually like hard, which is bad, but so here's what I'm starting to think. We'll test that in a second. We're developing hardpan underneath the peat moss that I put down last year, because now I'm ignoring the clay. I'm not working the clay anymore. So we're developing hardpan underneath the peat moss and the broken up clay, which means underneath in the subsoil it's just rock solid because of the clay. So we could fork it and put more soil on top. Yeah, need plants with big roots that can break that clay up. Yep. Daikon radishes would work. We gotta get seeds for those because I don't have any of those seeds. And most of the other plants don't have very thick roots. The chard does establish very well. The arugula does too, kind of. Cover cropping would also help, because they have larger root structures than the crops we grow. The other option is to the other option is to fork it and put more soil on top. Yeah. Yep. It's just moist. That's why it went in so easy. This side. This is broken up pretty good, actually. Well, it's just wet too, but it's much deeper. Yeah. So, hard pan. We can test it right here too. So, you get them, ladybug. You get those aphids. So those roots got like 1.5 inches. And then it's pretty tough. Still, it gives.
He's a legend.
But it's pretty tough. We got hard pan. Yeah, not much root material below that mat of peat moss. That was mistakes were made. So, more work for us this season to get stuff ready to go, I guess. We need to break up all this soil before we add more stuff on. We might just head into the other tunnel and get started on that, because that's the next one we want to plant. However, I want to do that without flipping. Kyriel Dooku, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong last year. Many things I did wrong, apparently. I can break this stuff up pretty easy, though. Feels like. Hi. Welcome. But I'm gonna be bringing up all the clay. I mean, kind of need to, I guess. Integrate all that stuff on top. So we've got hard pan at our root base. We need to break up deeper than that. Starting your container garden this year, it's nice to see someone gardening on Twitch. Thank you! Like actually gardening, not like a static stream. I'm sure you probably found some of those. Those bother me. But yeah. Garden. The whole thing. All the good, the bad, the ugly, the wonderful. You might not be able to learn too much from me except for what not to do. What are you planning on growing this year? Is this your first time that you're gonna be gardening? Kyriel? Kind of like Ariel, but different. Potatoes, carrots, Brussels sprouts, chives, catnip, romaine, and an assortment of flowers. Not much. Your property manager would get upset if you did more. You live in an apartment. No, the containers are way to go. Are you in the US? Or are you in Europe? Or Asia? Or Africa? You did a lot of gardening in the past, but since you moved and you don't have a lot of space anymore. Yeah. You have a patio, a porch, in an apartment, that's a good place to throw up some containers. USA, nice. So we are trying to get this worked, ready for spring. This plot is heavy clay, so stuff's having a hard time after about an inch or so. So I'm trying to break it up with the fork here. Get stuff worked in. I don't know if you can see me because I'm kind of off here on the other side. Hopefully the camera's wide enough so you can see kind of what I'm doing. Kind of. You see my butt. I'll move you back a little bit. Or turn you to the side. Like, yeah. Oh. There you go. Yeah, so I'm glad you're enjoying the vibe. Thanks for stopping by. We're pretty chill. We do the best we can with what we got. don't worry too much. Kind of laugh at our mistakes. Not really. Sometimes I curse myself. But I do quickly move on to try and get things working better. How's that view? Is that better? Yes. I know you like the butt. I'm just trying something real quick. Ray's my wife, so she gets to like the butt and say things like that. I might go see about another tool. Don't have it, but we'll see. Shouldn't be too much at Lowe's. It's pretty necessary though, because we gotta work all this stuff together. So, we're talking soil. Let me see if I can get a good chunk. There's the butt again, Ray. And this is a fairly moist spot, so. So it's actually coming apart. Oh. Now that's actually really good. There's some rays of hope here. Okay. Some rays of hope. This is kind of awesome. And it makes me really happy. The butt. Okay, so you can kind of tell here. So there's like half an inch here, half an inch of the peat moss to like 2 inches. Obviously I don't get it covered very well. But this right here is fungal mycelia, which follows the root systems to help. It helps break up the soil bit. And B, it helps boost fertility. Maybe I'm wrong, because there's bugs in there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I haven't inspected these a lot to look at them. Yeah, no. So I can break it in half. But it does mean that there's nutrients in the clay, because there's bugs in it, and they like it right there. So I may not know what I'm talking about, but we're kind of running all through that. Just underneath the peat moss. See, like this layer here, it's almost 2 inches of broken up stuff. And then the heavy clay's down here. So it might just take a lot of work. Get all this broken up real good. make sure we keep it damp but not dry, also not sopping wet. That way we can start breaking this clay apart. We're effectively getting away from the no-till though, I guess, because we're going pretty deep and we're not caring if it flips, because we have to break up the clay. The only way to break up the clay is to bring it up and then work it. So yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that on those beds in there, because they're not as wet as this. Keep sliding down like that. Yeah, so we'll do an experiment. We'll leave that far tunnel. We'll leave that far tunnel the way it is. We'll do the other two tunnels like this. We'll break it apart. We'll get more soil amendment to put on top after it settles. We're gonna break it up as good as we can. I'm gonna try and find that tool. Grab it up. Because the reason why this is happening is because it's hard pan. The roots can't go through the clay, which is no bueno. Which means we have stunted plants that don't grow. Which I should have thought of, because, you know, but I didn't. So we'll just work this as best we can. But like I said, we are essentially getting away from our attempt at no-till, because we goofed. I goofed. I also don't want to use the tiller though, simply because it would just lead to the same problem, I think. With this, we'll get pretty deep. But also, hopefully slightly uneven. That way it can break apart stuff. It needs, yeah. Well, I mean, there was different reasons for it, you know. The idea was a good one. I want to get away from the clay. I want to get away from the clay and the weed seeds. But that's just not an option. Because we don't have enough. I mean, we need at least 6 inches of good soil to work with. In all honesty. We need like 6 inches. Right? If my plants can't get deep enough, then they stop growing like they did. So that, I mean, yeah. Right? So it's not a matter of principle.